In the year 2039, Gotham City has no heroes. Its people, no future.
Evening, boys and girls. What's up?
Terry McGinnis was part of the problem.
You can't control your temper, and you'd better if you expect to get anywhere in life.
Yeah, I'll be a big success, just like you.
Until a moment of violence brought of Bruce as the Batman.
You okay?
Now, the Dark Knight will rise again to drive the shadow of evil from the streets of Gotham. Let and beyond. Weeknights at 6:30.
You're pretty strong for some clown who thinks he's Batman.
I am Batman. Justice returns to Gotham.
Welcome to my world.
Only Toonami. Eternia is a paradise. An act of betrayal has created the ultimate evil. My face! His name is Skeletor. Will be mine! Battle position! The only thing that can stop his evil horde is a legend no one believes in.
A hero.
And a prince with an attitude.
All this battle training is just fun and games.
A sword will choose its master. A boar, a man. Hero will be born. Tommy is proud to present, like you've never seen him before, in an all-new original movie, Masters of the Universe. Next Friday at 4. Only Toonami.
4 turtles, mutated beyond recognition. For 15 years, the brothers hid in the sewers, training in the ancient ways of the ninja.
You cannot simply walk amongst the humans.
But we can certainly fly. Woohoo!
Now finally surfaced, but the welcoming committee isn't quite what they expected.
Prepare to battle, costume fools.
We're not wearing costumes.
Don't miss the world premiere of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Saturday, February 8th, 10:30 a.m. Only in the Fox Box.
The original Justice League has become a memory.
I am resigning from the Justice League.
Action flicked. A new team has arisen. A much, much bigger team.
Each of you brings something different to the table.
Old friends, new heroes. And as usual, plenty of bad guys jumping up to get beat down.
Calm down, and I'll let you go. How about you kiss my ass?
Watch out, evildoers. There's nowhere to run. Because this year, they're all around you. The League is unlimited. Toonami presents an all-new original series starring every superhero worth cheering for. And then some. Justice League Unlimited. Premiering July 31st at 8:30 p.m.
Now where am I exactly?
Among friends.
There's strength in numbers. Only Toonami.
In a future where anyone could be a cyborg, cops are a little different. The legendary cyberpunk classic finally comes to television in an all-new original series, no standalone complex. New episodes every Saturday night at 12:30. The future is now.
Every night around the world, the children, unaware of danger lurking in the shadows. But this night, a strange tune floats on the wind, and the children, one by one, begin to disappear.
I wonder where she could be going.
They are taken to a land of sweet memories and used to power an evil that feeds on their dreams.
My wonderful black dream hole is consuming dream energy from children.
Now, it's up to Sailor Moon and the Sailor Soldiers to put an end to this nightmare. This time, they're gonna need
Sailor Uranus!
a little help.
Oh! Sailor Neptune!
Sailor Moon Super S, next Friday at 5:30. Dream on.
The children!
Only Toonami.
This place is a town of forgetfulness.
40 years ago, everything we knew was destroyed. The face of the planet changed forever.
There isn't anyone who really knows exactly what did happen.
The survivors left without memories. In the aftermath, a new society has formed.
I perform a much-needed job here in the city of amnesia.
In Paradigm City, the rich close themselves into giant domes, while the poor must live without protection. But one man stands for something more, and he does it in serious style.
As a professional, I just try to do my best.
His name is Roger Smith, the Negotiator.
Try this.
Goes against my principles, but I don't have a choice.
His allies, an android, a butler, and Big O.
It's showtime.
When they start a job, they always see it through.
Rest in peace. Bye-bye.
Enemies of Paradigm City, beware. There's a new robot on the block.
You're not going anywhere. You crazy little fool, you're gonna get yourself killed. Time to finish this.
Stay here if we do.
It ends it once and for all.
Big O, weekdays at 5:30. Good guys still wear black. Only Toonami.
The destruction of Unicron has created a black hole, which threatens to swallow the planet.
Let's go!
Now, the Autobots' only hope is to find the ancient planet keys.
Prepare for battle!
But as usual, the Decepticons aren't playing along.
Beat it, Megatron! Oh, really?
Transformers Cybertron. New episodes, Saturdays at 7. Unlock the power.
Gotcha!
Only Toonami.
From beyond any known galaxy, bringing with them the laws and ideals of their doomed planet Thundera, come the Thundercats. Jaka, the wise. Tigra, the invisible. Chitara, the quick. Wily Cat and Wily Kit, a cunning junior duo. Patrol, the deadly. And the Snark. The Thundercats, all sworn to serve their young lord, Lion-O, and to instruct him in the secrets of the Eye of Thundera. The the eye embedded in the hilt of the mystic Sword of Omens, and the source of the Thundercats' power.
Thunder, 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Pursuing the Thundercats to Third Earth, and determined to possess the Eye of Thundera for their own evil purposes, are the hideous mutants of the planet Plundar, led by the reptilian Slime. They form an unholy alliance with the ageless devil priest of First Earth, Mumra.
Reactor engaged. Faction locked. All go.
Hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well. Sorry for the problems at the beginning of the stream. What happens when my power gets knocked out, my computer goes down? It takes about 20 minutes for it to get up and running the way it's supposed to. So, my apologies for that. And yes, I remember to actually turn the audio on, so no muting. Yay. So, a couple of pieces of housekeeping we're going to go into right now. Bunny Chan is still melting down. It is still very, very funny. Their newest strategy is to claim I am tracing my art without the ability to actually understand or prove what tracing is, while somehow waffling back and forth between whether or not they want me dead or whether or not they're so worried about the stores in my area. Oh no, it's absolute lunacy. Bunny Chan should probably just kill himself at this point. It'd be very funny. Be very funny. So, what are we going to go over today? Well, a few weeks ago, I did a stream primarily going over, or only going over, Parlo's doc against Internet Adjacent. Well, Internet Adjacent has decided to finally put out a video. It's 40 minutes long. I downloaded it. I don't feel like giving him more views. You'll find out why in a bit here. But for some reason, my video player isn't allowing me to change the speed. So, we will have to go in real time for it, and we'll go from there. So, let me get this up and running. And if I die, it's because the power cut out, and we'll try it again later. Boop. All right, let's move this to where it needs to be. Usually I would do this before stream, but, you know, when power gets knocked out, can't do that. So here we go. All right, so let's go ahead and try to get through this. If I get any super chats, I'll read them at the end of the stream. But there's some things about this. It's a media player. Usually it does have the ability to go through speeds, but for some reason it won't on this one. Anyways, let's go on with this.
This is a very different video than usual. So yeah, obviously this has been a fun past few days for me. If you aren't aware, then I currently have been facing a situation that absolutely exploded. Since everything, at least of mine, has been full blasted on the internet, then I kind of guess shame has gone out of the window, and right now my only concern is to address every single thing I found recently in order to just, like, get the situation done and over with. This is the one and only time I'll be talking about this. After this video, I will be moving on and uploading like normal. Jerry is going to get another video or two, but after that, I will be coming back as the host. Recently, the creator Parlo, who I used to be really good friends with, and as I'm sure a lot of people know now, a little bit more, has come out with a document on me, and I made a document on him. It's also been probably aware by now that both of us have taken our documents down, which I'll get into later, but I have come here to both debunk everything in this situation that is blatant lies, and actually take accountability for where I have made genuine errors. While I could just sit here and say that I am completely innocent of every single thing and I'm just a perfect angel, obviously that's not true, and I'll own up when needed because while the mistakes I actually did make aren't like career destroying, it is still definitely something I'm going to have to own up to and just fully admit I did wrong. In regards to the serious allegations, then short answer is no, I haven't really done anything like what people are trying to say I have, but in terms of a lot of the other things, there are mistakes I have genuinely made throughout the situation that I'm going to address here. I will be returning to content as normal.
The first one was doing a Google Doc in general. You could have addressed this in better ways. And you didn't have to confirm some of the weird details here. Like, you don't have to. Like, this was an entire embarrassing thing. There's also the running to other content creators about it. That was really dumb.
But I feel like this video is necessary to move forward. A lot of people have been asking me for this video for a while, and I've been saying the whole time, just be a little patient. I don't want to rush anything like this because this determines what I do going forward. So there's a lot for us to cover, but I figured we would just start with all the serious allegations and go from there. There's going to be timestamps, so if there's a specific section you want to look at, then you can just go and find which section you want to watch. In regards to the Anthrocon furry convention thing, I'll be talking about that in full at the end of this video, but in regards to every other serious accusation, I'm going to cover those one at a time. So let's start off with the big one. One of the first claims of the document that Parlo made is that he felt like he was coerced into having sex with me. That he felt like he had to say yes to me out of fear of what would happen if I said no. That he never felt like he was in a position to say no.
Which we did talk about. Like, I feel bad that he felt like he couldn't say anything allegedly, but at the same time, you can't sit there and operate consistently on body language, and he should have known when you have a mouth and you can just say no. No is a very effective word, and it is a complete sentence. So just say no, instead of not saying no and then blaming the other guy for not magically picking up your body language on it.
We're going to go into specific instances that were brought up, but the main thing to highlight is how Parlo behaved during the situation. Parlo said in his original doc, as well as on live streams, that he actually has a problem saying no, and that oftentimes, even if he wasn't wanting to do something, he'll still do it just to please the other person. He goes on to say that he tried to use his body language in order to let me down instead of just telling me no. This is why if you look at the DMs, he is constantly going along with everything and saying he's totally fine with everything. It's also why during the...
Well, I mean, the DMs don't contradict body language, but the body language is kind of a pointless thing to bring up at this juncture.
Accountings of what happened, the same thing is being said. I've constantly said that Parlo said yes in almost every single one of our encounters. And when he actually told me no to stuff, I backed off and didn't pressure him.
Now, that's a little harder to prove simply because in the Google Doc, Parlo does say, I told him no multiple times. He didn't listen. None of us were there. We can't prove it one way or another. Just, exercise whatever discretion you want to when, looking back at this stuff.
In regards to using your body language and shit in order to tell me he wasn't down, this is in general just not a good way to handle things. A lot of people have been saying this to a large degree. As in doing so, you're just kind of banking on the fact that the other person picks up on things like these. But if you're in a situation like this where you're not comfortable or you're not wanting to do something and you're trying to be subtle, if your subtlety doesn't work, it is your responsibility to just tell the other person how you feel.
At the same time, I have to ask, because I can't remember if it was covered in the doc or not, so you guys can correct me. Like, did they block each other after all this went down? Like, before the Google Docs? Because if not, you guys could have just gotten in a call and hashed this out. Like, even if Parlo put out a doc on you, you could have just hopped in call with him. If, again, maybe they blocked each other. Maybe this wasn't an option. If it wasn't, then it wasn't. But you probably could have head this off at the pass instead of working on a separate Google Doc, which, of course, you were apparently working on before Parlo dropped his. So, fun.
You cannot blame the other person for not picking up on your subtlety. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works. In my case specifically, as a lot of people have said, I kind of struggle to pick up on body language. Some people have actually asked if I'm autistic, and I do not have any confirmed diagnosis yet, but I will say I have actually scheduled an appointment for that, and I will post the results when I get them.
Well, good luck there. Being diagnosed as an adult's not exactly easy.
Once again, this isn't exactly something I want to share online, but I'm unfortunately forced into that situation.
No, you're not forced into it. You can just literally not respond to anybody asking if you're autistic. I did on my stream. You didn't respond to that. We'll get into my thoughts on that in a bit here. But you don't... Sometimes when you're in drama and you're on the receiving end, because Lord knows I did this, you feel more compelled to give data that you really didn't need to because you're responding in the moment. It's often better to take a step back and talk with rational people who aren't inherently connected and see what they think, because you don't need to put out that much detail about your life. You just don't.
Yeah, not everyone is able to pick up on subtle body language, and I myself struggle to do so, as has been confirmed by a lot of the people who were personally there. This is why my main point in my original document was that Parlo was telling me yes constantly. because I didn't pick up on the cues he was trying to send. Another thing I would like to highlight before we even move forward is that Parlo is changing his positions constantly in the situation. In his document, he said nothing criminal happened. In private, he was telling people he was sexually assaulted.
Alright, so it says, no crap, and I tried to help and get you involved so you can get effing money, and you effing bait me to reply by stressing me the F out, while my life is worse. I got arrested, almost sued, striked, and sexually assaulted. Well, it says adulted, but whatever. I'm down 4,000 effing dollars. One would think the sexually assaulted would be a little earlier, but okay.
Now, publicly on Twitter, he's saying it was all alleged. I usually understand why people covering allegations use the term allegedly when it comes to criminal actions. It's because they don't know what happened, so for legal reasons, they have to say that, or else they could get in legal trouble. Why on earth would you put allegedly in front of allegations that you are making?
Because Parlo, like you, is YouTube-brained. That's why. Because Parlo is just like you, and you're both YouTube-brained. I recommend getting jobs. And to the one person, because I caught this in chat again, I'm not going to respond too much with, like, chat engagement for a bit. When I was tested, was like in the 90s, where, like, if you piss on the rabbit and it doesn't die, you don't have autism. So, no, haven't been tested as an adult. But there are signs.
Like, could you imagine going to a police station or reporting a crime and saying, yeah, you know, allegedly my neighbor broke into my house and robbed me, when you're, like, literally the only person to see anything? It makes zero fucking sense.
Agreed, but again, you're both YouTube-brained.
With all that out of the way, let's unfortunately get into the actual scenarios. If you cringed the first time going through this entire situation, it's not going to get much better. If anything, we're on a downhill slope. So, the first night, we decided to do oral in the bedroom. Parlo has claimed that I pressured him by pulling out and taking a condom out of the wrapper. I pulled the condom out in the wrapper, yes, that is what I did, but I didn't open it. I asked if he wanted to do stuff, to which he said sure, and then I pulled the condom out of the wrapper. And almost immediately after I did this, he changed his mind, and we didn't end up doing anything. So the wrapper was put on a shelf where it remained for the entire time. Parlo has, for some reason, included a photo censored of the condom.
Why are you... Okay, back up. There is not a single person that is looking in depth in this that I'm aware of that's like a 5-year-old. Why are you censoring an allegedly wrapped condom? Like, you can see that on, like, a television show rated, like, PG. Any character walking into a gas station. But this is dumb. This is dumb!
In the fucking Google Doc. Oh, we're going to be seeing a lot of that, by the way. So, like I said, this is your cringe warning. I asked that if he didn't want to do that, if he was down to use a dildo that I had brought along, which... Yes, we're going to talk... which... God damn it! I don't even know how to talk about this. Yes, it is the famed. It is the Cinderella, which we're gonna talk about later. That's a little bit more of the goofy side of this whole thing. Now he said yes. Something Parlo even says in his document that he did just to satisfy me, meaning even though he didn't want to, he told me he was down to do it. Even though he could have said no, and I would have had zero problem with, which we'll see examples of later, but what do I fucking know? He also included a part about how I asked if we could film. For some reason, he's trying to say that this is just a me thing, like this is just a weird thing I do.
Don't film that. Don't ever film that. Especially if it's between two content creators, that will blow up immediately in your face. Because the moment you slight them, the moment there's drama, it will be used against you. It just will be. Period. Now this, I didn't need to know. Wonder what the tripod will be used for. I wish it wasn't snipped, because these are backwards. Parlo asks about the tripod in October. Then we have two more. That back in September, one says, "Make me gape on camera." And then another one shaking at the end. Why? I do not need to know this. I do not need to know this about somebody's sex life. Okay? I don't.
No, that's Parlo's thing. He's into that. It's not just something I randomly brought up. God, I fucking hate this. As for the fingering, yes, that is...
None of this is necessary to bring up. Just say, hey, Parlo lied about the filming, yada yada. I don't need this much detail. You could You could have censored that instead.
That is in my script. I received consent to do that. This is the biggest case of he said, she said, but I'm going to stand on this till the end of the time that, yeah, I received consent to do this. I have said that since the very beginning. I'm going to say that till the very end because that is what happened. The second day is one that shoots a hole in Parlo's entire I was scared of what would happen if I said no. Because in the DMs, he tells me that no, he's not willing to do anything tonight. To which I say, okay. And then the most I do is offer to walk him to the train station because, as I've been told by a lot of other people, we were basically in like the Chicago of London. Like, it looked like you'd walked outside and just get stabbed.
Nah, don't walk anybody anywhere. This generation has to start operating like mine did. All right? What do I mean by that? Here's how that worked. When I was a young man in the Mesozoic and the Paleolithic, we played outside until the lights on the street came on, and then we went home, and if you didn't make it home, you wound up on Unsolved Mysteries like God intended. Toughen them up. Go into the Bronx, unarmed. Learn to fight and die like a man.
I kissed him before he left, and that was about it. I didn't pursue him sexually after. He said he didn't want to do anything, and I said, all right, we don't have to. So his whole argument of I was scared of what he'd do if I said no, I mean, in what instance in this or any situation prior did he say no and then I crashed out on him? I mean, in his recounting of the first day, he says I gave him the illusion of choice. What am I, fucking Mysterio? Am I just creating illusions for you? No, I said...
Would the illusion involve furry pee-pee?
Said, we don't have to do anything tonight. I would prefer if we did, but at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. That is your chance. You are given the golden opportunity to say no. That is your chance. If you do not want to do anything, that is where you tell me I don't want to do anything. And you did the second day. You said I don't want to do anything, and we didn't do anything. So this whole like I didn't have the chance to say no. You absolutely did. I gave you multiple instances. It's just a completely unfounded claim that he pulled out of his ass, and this is like the prime example of that. I constantly told him I wouldn't want to make him do something he wouldn't be cool with. Constantly. He also tries to say that I kissed him as like some sort of apology or some shit like that. No, I kissed you because I was into you. This shit didn't have a double meaning. It's not like your fucking English assignment where it's like read through the lines.
Yeah, that is weird. I'm gonna give you a kiss as an apology. Like, who does that? Like, are you making the boo-boo go away? The heck?
And now, with that, we're on to the third day. This seems to be the most contested of all the days in terms of what...
You know, I'm seeing a little bit of the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and comment a couple things here. I also had the transformatism, to the point to where earlier today, Asuka was telling me about how, like, they used the transformer named Jilt, based on the Bay films, apparently, when my first thought was Hot Shots Minicon. And then when she was asking how many characters have the name Jolt, I told her, like, I didn't even look it up. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was one of the laser rods from Generation 2. And I was right. Also, yes, if you went missing, Ultra Magnus, aka Robert Stack, would tell people about you on TV. On today's Unsolved Mystery, what happens when a YouTuber and a furry YouTuber get together? The decision to get together with each other and have a weird romp involving an item named Cinderella will leave you gobsmacked at how the world responded tonight on Unsolved Mysteries.
It actually happened. Unfortunately, like a lot of the rest of the situation, there's really zero evidence for either side, so all I can do is share my recounting of the events. We were supposed to go out to a club later that night, but me and Parlo talked about having sex before then. I asked when he would want to do that before...
Why? Just why?
After we went out to the club, and he said before. I'm someone who likes to have a schedule set up and likes to have a clear pattern of where things are happening, so I was trying to figure out when we were going to do that. After asking Parlo, he told me he wanted to play Minecraft and work on his pyro dock for a bit, but that he still wanted...
Okay, I've just got to be that guy. If you are out on vacation, like physically away from your freaking home, why are you working on YouTube videos? Go explore the area you are around. And trust me, that is coming from a guy who, like, when I go on, like, physical vacation elsewhere, I prefer to stay in a hotel room. Why? Because I am tired and I am old. Let me sleep. But these are younger people. Oh my God, go live your lives.
To have sex that night before the club. I walked in and out of the bedroom because my phone was in the bedroom charging, and it was the only outlet that worked, yet I still wanted to hang out with my friends in the other room, so I was going in and out of the bedroom. I would say when I was going in and out of there, but it was just to let them know.
How do you have only one working outlet for charging? What? This is dumb. Be prepared, Boy Scouts. Do they have that in the UK? I think they have something called that. I don't know. The Scone Scouts, maybe? Who knows?
Parlo is saying the only reason I possibly did this was to peer pressure him, which is just wrong. Was I hoping at one point he came in there with me? I mean, yeah, like a little bit. But to say I was like a fucking peacock trying to allure him in there is just like false.
That would be really funny, though. You know, if we started switching the mating habits between humans and birds, it'd be a lot interesting. Instead of having some guy just hitting you up saying, yo, baby, want some dick tonight? It's some dude, like, building you a house. Or like, puffing himself up to seem bigger than the others. Maybe turning his hair multicolored to show that he has more vibrant plumage. Or we could do it with, like the little spiders do their own little rave hands. And if they fail, they get eaten. They get eaten.
That wasn't my pure intention at all. That was the only working outlet for my phone, so I literally had to go in and out of the room.
What ghetto were you in? Did you rent, like, a space, or did you, like, have a cardboard box that you were taking from, like, the local homeless guy?
Eventually we went in there and had sex. After that, we were trying to figure out who would take a shower first. Unfortunately, because he spent so long dicking around on Minecraft and working on the Pyro Dock while we're supposed to be on vacation, we only had less than an hour before, so I suggested we take a shower together.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe there's a difference between the generations. But the only time I have seen anybody, because they're talking about, hey, we only had an hour to prepare, meaning they had to be there, like, in an hour or so. My wife sometimes takes a while in the shower, but that's because she has very long hair that goes down to, like, the back of her calves. But, like, I'm a guy. I would presume these two are too, based on the gayness they're in here. Takes me like 15 minutes. Why did you need to hop in? Why was your immediate thought was, we have an hour? Two of us need to take a shower? We should take it together. I will tell you right now, as a married man, that is something I've never done. Why? Because old, and a lot of accidents happen in the shower. That ain't happening.
Something he agreed to. Although now is trying to say that I forced my way into the room with him, which is just flat out false.
He's like that guy from Boondocks. The booty warrior.
Parlo and Avalon both.
But that is still gross and weird. Like, I'm coping with humor. Like, don't just, like, push that. That's dumb.
Both left later. When they came back, Parlo said he felt like I peer pressured him.
Tribute Maker, would you consider Internet Adjacent as brain out? No, I would consider him a snake, and we'll find out why later.
And as I later found out on Dicker's live stream, Parlo recorded me and Avalon privately without our consent.
The entire audio has been posted. I recommend you go listen to it. Yeah, that's scumbag behavior.
Like, start of the thing. Oh, for goodness sake, my fucking flashlight's not working. I just felt kind of pressured to do stuff for you because I didn't want to make you feel upset if I didn't do anything.
You can tell me no when it comes to that stuff. You don't have to...
I know, but I felt afraid that if saying no would just piss you off because I spent about 1,000 on that ticket. But I mean, I was just saying things that was.
I even told you we don't have to do stuff until December if you want.
I mean, I tried not to necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I
told you we can wait if you wanted. Which,
like, okay, so here's my issue. Listening to that, right? One of two things is probably true here. Either one, Parlo is planning this and trying to get together something to make it sound more legitimate. That's one option. Or two, Parlo actually believes what he's spouting and was actually afraid this guy would explode on him with no evidence therein and recorded this. Either way, he shouldn't have posted this, because what it directly does, in Internet Adjacent's favor, is you literally hear him say, if you don't want to, just say no. He is confirming that he would have accepted a no, and Parlo's paranoia following that is not a justification for the recording. And here's where I have to be, I'm just going to be a dick. I am just going to be a dick for just a second, forgive me. Parlo recorded his father physically assaulting him while in a Discord call, didn't take it to the cops, but instead chose to hold on to it for an exposed video in the future, because apparently that's just what he does. He records real life things for future use to whatever he wants to do. How deranged are you? Like, this is insane. This is absurd. You're a weirdo, Parlo.
You know, listen, you're allowed to record calls in, like, Discord or some shit if it's, like, an online thing. But it's kind of dicey when you do it in real life.
It's weird. I wouldn't say dicey. I mean, the legality of it's kind of up in the air, depending on where you are and what the laws there are. But, based on some other information I've been given about Parlo, I think it was snake behavior.
Like, when it comes to legality, I'm not so sure about how that works, but I don't know. I'm not going to moral fag about it. But the reason why this matters is because it proves that from the very start that my story has remained consistent this entire time, whether it be publicly where I know it's being recorded or privately.
Well, it hasn't been completely consistent. Other content creators I've spoken to have literally said that, so... You know, I expect at least some fluctuation. Because, you know, here's the thing. When you're talking to somebody about an ongoing drama, there are going to be different details that are going to vary just slightly. Whether because they remember more or because they just didn't think to mention something, or maybe they got the order of events wrong the first telling, so they corrected the next telling. Like, that happens, right? So it's not always going to be 100% consistent every single time somebody tells the same story. Like, there's going to be little details added or omitted, right? That's just how the human brain works, and that's fine. The core of what he said has remained consistent, but he shouldn't say it's always remained consistent all the time in terms of, like, every detail. It's just not accurate.
Where I don't know it's being recorded. My story has been consistent from day fucking one.
Well, here's the thing, and I need to go ahead and make this very clear to every content creator out there, because none of them have the tendency to think about it. Assume every conversation, every DM, every message you have on social media is going to hit the public eventually. Because when you operate like that, you can do one of two things. Either one, you can recognize it and say, I don't care, because I'm public enough about it. Or two, you'll know what's coming if you are being dumb. Now, if you're a predator, I hope they bury you quickly, because that is at least something you should do. But it'll save you a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, to just assume, hey, every conversation is going to eventually go public. You are in the drama sphere, Adjacent. You are not immune to this, and you never should have thought you were.
Second one. Also, Parlo has said he never intended for the situation to go public.
That's a lie.
Then why did you record me that night? You've been very against going to the police with this situation, so what other reason would you have for recording this?
Base take, I'll give him that. If you have been, and you feel you have been, assaulted sexually, go to the cops. Like, immediately. Immediately go to the cops, go to the cops, go to the cops, go to the cops. Why? Two reasons. Number one, it is the only real way you're going to get any form of tangible justice. Like, granted, they probably won't do much, to be honest with you. I'll be real with you on that. They don't always do much on that. But it's the only shot you got. And two, if this becomes repeated, a pattern of behavior for this person, and they continue to get reported for it, the cops will eventually have to do something. So, you building that foundation, in case there are other victims down the line, is always smarter than just putting it on YouTube and doing nothing else. Now, am I against people putting these things on YouTube? No. Once the proper channels have been followed through, do it. Why? So people know what's going on. And people say, well, why won't that affect the court case? Brother, if that were the case, honestly, if it was the case that putting out information on YouTube magically destroyed a court case, the evening news wouldn't exist. Surprise! Just warn people, it's fine.
You seem to try to say me talking to commentary YouTubers is the catalyst for this, but I don't think that's really true at this point. I think you were going to do something. Parlo has now stated the allegations are alleged, and I will say his response document has leaked. I'm pretty sure Guamgo posted it, and other people send it to me. He brings up this whole thing, but just says that I'm getting an autism diagnosis.
I've heard some weird things about Guamgo. I don't know how much I trust him, frankly, but here's what it says. It doing it when we were in person. This is not true. Furthermore, Wolfgang is getting an autism diagnosis as he himself acknowledges that he's not good at understand body language or social cues. This is probably just misspeak, honestly. He's saying he's getting an autism diagnosis, probably that he's being diagnosed for it. That doesn't mean you're inherently going to get it. Like, you go for that testing, right? That's probably what he's trying to say, being in good faith here.
Which is, like, the only mention of that entire thing that he has. Listen, no. I did not sexually assault Parlo. I feel like most people have realized that, at the very least, this was just an awkward hookup that one person regretted afterwards. There are parts of this accusation and the whole entire trip that I skipped that we'll be talking about later, but no, I did not sexually assault Parlo. I feel like most people have come to that conclusion.
Thank you, Bill Clinton.
But obviously, this isn't the only accusation. As is usual with Parlo, he filled his document with a lot of bullshit. I mean, compare our documents. Mine was just about the sexual assault allegations and the GoFundMe stuff, which we're going to talk about that in a bit too. Parlo made like 50 different accusations. I mean, almost all of them are bullshit. There's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork too to make other accusations, but those are also just bullshit as well. So let's just keep going. Another very serious accusation and very false accusation is grooming. So some people, for whatever reason, are trying to push the accusation right now that I'm a groomer. Not only am I confused on where this accusation is coming from, but even the person I allegedly groomed, Avalon, is not on board with this allegation. And Parlo wasn't originally until his channel got terminated. That's right, I've been told behind the scenes that Parlo was planning on not even including this when this whole thing went public, but also that people have told him to drop this behind the scenes and he considered it, but after his channel got terminated, he just went ahead and decided to call me a pedophile or something, so yeah, now we have to respond to that. It's not just that, but there's like zero evidence for anything related to grooming in this scenario. There's zero evidence for anything related to this claim in general. As far as I've seen, this whole thing just seems to be a rumor started from Parlo. The entire grooming claim is just downright false. I have been friends with Avalon for a very long time, and at no point had I ever been sexual or romantic towards him, nor was he...
No, but you have been weird, because I've seen the birthday card you sent. I couldn't find it for the stream, because I can't remember who sent it to me, but that's just weird, dude.
He that way towards me. We were never like that. It wasn't until after he turned 18 that Avalon started coming on to me and offering the idea of a three-way between me, him, and Parlo. This is proven in the DMs from before the situation even happened. And while I was hesitant at first due to the nature of our friendship, I also thought it was just very morally ambiguous. I didn't know if this was like okay or not. Avalon said he didn't see a problem with it multiple times, so I eventually figured there was nothing wrong with it. At most, the three of us discussed this whole thing, but Avalon's partner wasn't cool with it, so we didn't end up actually doing anything. This is not grooming, this is not pedophilia, it is so fucking far away from that. The most you can say is it's weird and reckless of me. Well,
I mean, it depends on what's in the DMs, because it could be an orbiter, theoretically.
It is literally like the deepest this can go. I find it hilarious how Parlo is saying I groomed Avalon, though, when he was ecstatic to have
I didn't need to see that.
Three-way with the two of us. In fact, actually, I'm going to read a DM Parlo sent me around the time we were discussing it, a day after we made that group chat. I asked Zillow if he got the go-ahead from... Okay, I feel bad a little bit, though, because I don't know how complex this all could be, and I wouldn't want to do anything unless they explicitly asked, because if it's between you and him, I wouldn't want to intrude on that. It's just that I'd love to be a part of it if they are all fine. You know, for someone who's saying I groomed this guy and I'm like a pedophile or something, you're certainly very eager to join in when you liked me. If I thought someone was a groomer, I wouldn't be trying to have fucking three-ways with them, Parlo. That's retarded.
Well, I mean, if you are one, you probably wouldn't care. Kind of a weird takeaway.
After Parlo made this accusation, I actually went to Avalon and others in our friend circle to genuinely figure out what the fuck is going on, to which Avalon has said that he doesn't agree with this claim or think I'm a groomer. Same with others in our circle. They also said that they've never gotten any of that. Like, they've never even suspected anything like that is going on. Like I said,
I'd need more data on it, frankly. But saying, hey, my friends agree with me isn't the counter you think it is.
Parlo made this claim, but was going to drop it after Avalon...
Thank you for the gifted membership, Burn the World.
...put pressure on him, but is now using it again because Parlo has the biggest victim complex in the world. So...
No, I've met a few people with bigger victim complexes. Like Buttons and Patchwork Heart.
So if people don't believe I'm a rapist, because why the fuck would they? This guy's been lying out...
And Cy Scribbles.
...out of his ass. Then I have to be a pedophile. All because he's mad his channel is gone. And that's because he has no one else to blame for his channel being terminated. He can't blame Mugen because the guy's a fucking nobody. He can't blame Cormanx because that guy's off the internet. He can't blame Guamgo because that'd be a fucking disaster. So I just have to be the villain. So yeah, this...
I mean, I don't know why he couldn't blame those people regardless. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is Parlo blaming Adjacent for his channel being gone? Because I haven't seen that yet.
Entire fucking grooming claim is just retarded. It's just entirely not true at all.
Oh, corrected. You're right. And Peaches, obviously. I tried not to think about her.
There was also an incident where I invited Avalon to the OpBlock server when he was 17, but he wasn't allowed in because the server was 18 plus. I invited him there because he wants to be a manager for a lot of YouTubers, so I figured I could invite him to a server with multiple creators so he could potentially rub elbows.
So here's what I'm going to say. Why is a 17-year-old a YouTube manager of anything other than maybe his own channel? Why are you trying to have a 17-year-old rub elbows with other YouTubers because he wants to be in their circle to maybe manage for them? If I have a 17-year-old come up to me and say, "Hey, Lio, can I help you manage your channel?" My response would be, "Whose child is this and why are you here?" It wouldn't be a, "Yes, child, let us sit down." And I know people get mad because a 17-year-old, I'm 40. Screw that. I don't even trust people my own age to run my channel. I barely trust myself. So just the idea of, here's a minor. I want to introduce them to YouTube management. Oh my God, just get a job. Unironically, learn how to use a wrench. Learn how to fix a car. Learn carpentry skills. Do basic construction work. Be an engineer for all I care. Just get a job. Mark my words. When, not if, because everything dies. When YouTube dies, all these people who have made their lives making YouTube content, they're going to die because they're not going to know what else to do. Because they don't have an actual, resume of real, tangible work people can point to. Good Lord.
When Avalon joined, he was put in the verification channel, and when I asked the owner if he was allowed in, they said it was only 18 plus, so I told Avalon he had to leave. People are trying to spin this as me wanting to put a minor in 18 plus space, but the reality is I just wasn't aware of the age requirement for the server when I invited him. He never got past the verification channel, and I mean, the OpBlock server isn't like porn. It's not like sex or anything, so I didn't assume it was 18 plus. Is that a little reckless? I mean, sure, but people are saying it's malicious. It's really not. And I feel like I did everything in that situation. I found out the server was 18 plus and he wasn't allowed to join, so I told him he couldn't get in. I didn't fucking beg the owner to let him in. I didn't get on my hands and knees. I didn't have a fucking 4-hour call. Go please let him in. Please, dear Lord, let him in.
Did you show Fauci Cinderella?
No, I found out the server was 18 plus and I told him he had to go. Personally, to me, the whole framing of the situation is crazy. Anytime people bring this up, they only say the server was 18 plus.
Now notice, Crow says, "When will you respond to Cloudy?" He never answers that, by the way. And we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, here's the thing. I love Cloudy. Cloudy's great. Cloudy is unironically, and he can get upset if he wants, actually, no, he'd probably agree with me, is the best part of OpBlock is Cloudy. She is a joy to have in calls. She's a joy to interact with. She's just a very whimsical individual. And the fact that this doofus ran from Cloudy is a problem.
Which sounds like you're talking about a pornography server, when in reality, they're just talking about a drama server that doesn't allow anyone under 18. You may ask why this matters, and it's purely because of the connotation this allegation has. Wolfgang invited a 17-year-old to an 18-plus server sounds way worse than Wolfgang invited a 17-year-old to a drama server that didn't allow minors. But guess which one people have been spreading around? It's the one that gets them more content. That's the one they're spreading.
Brother, you've been in the space long enough, you know. But here's what I'll say, right? And I don't need to see it, Wolf or Crow. I'm sure you handled it just fine. Here's the thing. Do I think there was malicious, predatory intent on inviting them to that server? No. Not from what I've seen. However, and here's what I will say. If you enter a server and they ask you your age, why do you think they do that? Do you think they do it to keep a tally on perhaps when your birthday is, to send you a birthday gift? No, it's because every server I've ever been in that asks for your age, it is to age gate. That is always the reason. Always, always, always. So, bare minimum, as good faith as possible, he's a moron. who doesn't understand why age gates happen. It doesn't matter if the server has no porn in it. It doesn't matter what that... You know what? If Fallow just killed all drama and made it about textiles, right? A server to discuss textiles. He could make the age gate 30 and he'd have the right to, who cares? Technically, it's Cloudy server, but you know what I mean. If Cloudy made it all about, I don't know, Beast Wars, because Cloudy likes Beast Wars. That's one reason why we like Cloudy. And they wanted to make the age gate 33. She could do that, and who cares? And if they say, well, why do you do it that way? And her response, I want to. Cope. It's the dumbest counterpoint he's got here.
I mean, just lay the situation out. I invited someone to a server, was told he couldn't join, so I told him to leave. That's the extent of this allegation. I'm sorry, if you think this is a massive thing, I think you have a massive thing growing on the side of your head. Speaking of...
I mean, just don't sexualize it. Also, I still love that he avoided the Cloudy stuff, because Cloudy's so scary, guys.
There's a claim going around that me and Parlo invited Avalon to a group chat and sent him NSFW when he was underage, which is just entirely false. I've actually seen people like Lio Convoy push this, which, I mean, I don't know what I expected, but let me just really quickly say...
Oh, we'll get there, don't
Avalon
worry.
Turned 18 in September, and the group chat was made in October after he came on to me. So, no, this claim's just entirely false, and yet people have literally pushed this without any evidence.
So who wants to do some reading chat? We're gonna do some reading chat. Boop. Hello. So, he made it a point to cut out that specific thing. Now, keep in mind, I had only gone through Parlo's doc. Right? Only Parlo's doc. Where that claim came from. So here's the conversation. Now, keep in mind, he watched my stream and responded to it saying, sorry for the psychological damage my love life caused Lio. My response to him was, I'm a bit more concerned with the fact that you posted news in a GC that had a minor in it, frankly. And everybody else is Cloudy saying, so you can ignore me when I ask you why you wanted a minor not block server? Great. And all these other responses. He came to my channel, saw what I said, and what did he do? Well, dear chat, he added me on Discord, and we're going to look at our conversation. Now, keep in mind, I did not go to him. He came to me. And I say, sup, and then the next day, did you add me for a reason, or... And he says, I was going to say, if you have any questions in regards to what's happening, I'm available, but I think it's better to hold off until after I publish my response. I said, I don't think talking to me is going to affect that. Essentially, we can talk now, right? What do you mean? Exactly what I said. It's not really going to matter one way or another. This is our entire conversation. Our entire conversation. Now, I don't know, put on our thinking caps, right? Let's put on our little thinking caps with a propeller on it, with the beanie. If this was something incorrect, if it was something incorrect that you say a major issue with, because I would, if somebody accused me of posting my nudes, like anywhere, I'd be a problem with it because I don't do that. But specifically in a group chat where it's claimed that minor is in there, and somebody says that to me, my response isn't going to be, well, if you have any questions you can ask. It'd be, you're wrong, here's why you're wrong. Here's why that data is wrong. And he had the opportunity to correct it in the comments. Because remember, he came to me, and then he had the opportunity to correct it here. So why didn't he? Why didn't he have that conversation? Why didn't he say, hey, Lio, I think this is wrong? Because here's the truth of the matter. If I had data that proved it was wrong, I would have said something. I would have flatly told him, hey, I'll correct it, whatever. This will be something I can edit in, whatever I need to do. The reason why he's going this direction is because this guy has been trying to ride the coattails of other creators, including me to a point, because he wanted me to give him KP's Discord tag, because he's just got to follow that, right? He saw the opportunity to throw somebody like me under the bus because I have some controversial opinions in the past, or actions in the past. Willingly and knowingly claiming somebody's a child predator, or knowing that they're not, is not something you can put on my doorstep. I'm sorry, but it's not. This is dishonest snake behavior. That is what he is doing. He is being a snake. He knows he's being a snake. He is being a habitual liar. He had multiple times he could have talked to me and corrected the record. If we had that conversation and he was able to debunk it with solid data, I would have probably published the call after giving a cut of it, like a raw cut of the call. And boom, corrected to a larger platform. Oh my goodness, think of the children. This is malicious from him. You're a snake, Adjacent. You're a snake. And the problem with this, to anybody who can actually be critical in their thinking, which again, there's certain commentary bros that can't be because, like, they'll defend the worst of things if they think I'm against it, right? If they take a look at this, it throws everything else into question. Because if you're willing to lie about this, what else are you willing to lie about? This is such a small thing to try to throw somebody under the bus for in terms of how it could have been corrected. That's why he's doing it. He knows it. He knows it. You're a snake, Adjacent. And from what I understand, Adjacent's going to be on Falgi's stream tonight. If he's still going by the time we're done, I'll rage into him. Because again, Falgi's mentioned here. You should be able to hear his take on this. I'm fine with that. But this is snake behavior. I doubt Falgi's going to cover it, but this is snake behavior. So, chat, what do we feel about snake behavior? Let me know in the chat below. Back to this goofy little video.
That says a lot about you, I'll just say that. Like I said, this whole
sure thing, buddy.
Grooming claim just seems pulled out of nowhere. Avalon himself has said multiple times that he does not agree with this claim, which, funnily enough, we were supposed to work with Parlo to just entirely figure out how to just drop this claim from the entire story. And by the way, it's not just the reason why Avalon has...
Which, by the way, he could have sent me at any given time. He chose not to. Again, on him. Trying to make it on me, but it's on him.
Publicly or privately confirmed this claim is true because he doesn't believe...
Oh, Falgi said he's not showing up. Pussy!
But it's also part of the reason he is currently helping me debunk the entire claim. Who do you think I've been going to make sure this entire thing has been, like, good? I've constantly asked Avalon, like, did you think I was, like, grooming you at any point? Did you think I was ever inappropriate to you? I've been constantly making sure that I didn't put him in a situation like that.
Yes, Loon. The avatar moves the mouth now. Everybody give Loon some validation. Loon draws very nice, thick women.
And he's never once said that he felt like I groomed him. He hasn't said that to me. He hasn't said that to anyone else around us. This is a claim Parlo is making. And ironically, this claim is fucking Parlo over because if this is grooming, then Parlo would also be guilty of that.
That is actually true. And I think I said as much in the stream that, like, if Parlo's in there and this person's a minor, he just owned himself too, right? Now, granted, why did I sit here and, contact internet or be in contact with Internet Adjacent about Parlo? I'm not in contact with Parlo. And I'm 100% sure if Parlo got a friend request from Lyle Convoy, he'd probably piss himself. Because the dude has actually dealt with some unhinged people. And, it's going to be a problem. That's a fair point, though. But here's the thing. When it comes to grooming victims, right? There are times people can say you were groomed, and the person's like, no, I wasn't. And if there's no evidence, no actual solid, tangible evidence, you should take their word for it. You should. However, he keeps repeating, well, he says it's not grooming. He says it's not grooming. He says it's not grooming. Sometimes grooming victims don't know they've been groomed. That is true. However, what he could have and should have done is gone through every piece of data people are using to claim he is one and debunk it. Ta-da! Not hard to do. I've done it. Other people have done it. You don't need to keep saying Avalon feels, Avalon feels, Avalon feels, especially when they're not even in the video. Does that... For a YouTube manager, Avalon should be putting out their own thing on this. Going to be real clear on that, right? If that is their stance. Instead of being used essentially as a mouthpiece here, but for Internet Adjacent.
Parlo doesn't realize that if he keeps pushing this allegation, then he's a pedophile. Which, listen, man, the police are already investigating you. You don't need to give them more ammunition. And like I said, a lot of the stuff from Parlo's doc was meant to be cut, which has been, I think, publicly confirmed. This accusation was supposed to be one of them. As we all know, he switched positions, which, to be honest, this just feels like he kind of realized that his career is completely fucked, so he just wanted to take me down with him. Yeah, this entire claim is just...
Well, based on the views I saw from this video before I downloaded it, I mean, you're kind of already there, bud.
Bullshit, and it's a pathetic attempt to make me look bad. The only reason I feel...
I agree. Parlo didn't mean to make you look bad. You do that just fine on your own, Chief.
I feel like this is included is because Parlo doesn't fully believe in the whole sexual assault allegation, or else he wouldn't have needed to include this. It's like he realized that people didn't believe that I was like a rapist or a sexual assaulter.
just to speed run it, apparently a bunch of UTTP weirdos, you know, that pedophile group, made false claims. It's all over the place. Guamo, I think, did multiple videos on it. Contacted the police in Parlo's area and said, hey, this guy has child porn, yada yada. The police, like, arrested him and all that. It was admitted it was a false report. It was admitted it was done spitefully. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that's what happened to Parlo.
So naturally the next thing is, oh, I have to be a villain somehow, so now I just have to be a pedophile. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. Of all the false claims in this situation, it's just the most false. And yeah, I feel like I've done a pretty adequate job of explaining why this is bullshit. But those are the real big accusations. Everything else from here on out is just kind of goofy shit, or shit that isn't really that big of a deal. So this is the embarrassing part of the whole thing. Let's get on to an accusation that's just flat out wrong.
Oh boy.
Zoophilia. Parlo is trying to argue that certain commissions of mine that I got when I was a furry makes me a zoophile.
Depends on what's on the commissions, Chief.
I'm gonna need to simplify this for normies. This shit is really embarrassing. So, I've said before, do whatever the fuck you want in DMs. If it's two adults just being weird in DMs and it's not illegal shit, do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't really care. Just keep your shit out of the public eye. Unfortunately, Parlo decided to post every single facet of my life that he had publicly. He's posted my name. He's posted what I look like. He's posted my driver's license. Did we need this information?
Draco the Golden, no, just you. I'm just gonna bully you on Discord. Or DOScord. Draco the Golden, everybody. Bottom of the barrel like you.
No, we really didn't. But Parlo's schizophrenic, so he's gonna do it anyway. One thing that Parlo brought up is because of some furry porn I commissioned, I am a zoophile.
Depends on what's in that furry porn, frankly.
I used to be a furry, alright? And I think it's pretty clear that I'm just a fucking faggot, bro. Like, I think that's pretty clear from the situation. So, naturally, as a furry, I got a lot of commissions of shit that's supposed to be private. Did I get any porn that depicted animals or anything like that? Like a dog getting fucked or something? No. I got normal furry porn because I'm a queer.
Alright, so here's the thing. I haven't seen what is being referred to here, but I'm going to make this real clear. There is a problem with furries, and it's the same mockery. Condemnation I had of people in the Fox Mafia. You can sit there all day long and say, well, if it's on all fours, that's what makes it bad. But if the animal stands on its hind legs and there's no difference in a genitalia or a body structure, brother, it doesn't matter. So I don't know what porn's been talked about here, but if it winds up on my desk and there's a bunch of anatomically accurate dog dick or cat dick or whatever, brother, how is that not zoophilia? Unironically, explain to me how that's not zoophilia. You are sexually attracted to the body part of an animal. Like, you know what? I might, one moment. I'm just going to be that guy. Just give me a moment. I got to do something. I've got to, how do I do it? Give me a minute. Just a minute. I got to go find something. Where is it? Sometimes I forget where I put things because I'm old. So you have to, there we go. Come on, load. Boop. Let's see if I can make this a little larger. Now, can it switch back and forth? Yes. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do, chat. Here's what we're going to do. And I did this like 2 years ago or so, because I actually need to do it again because I'm very bad at drawing women and I need to get better at it. So, I'm going to make a point here. All right? We're going to switch to reading. Try not to be too shocked. This is Callie Briggs from SWAT Cats. As you can see, she has the cat ears, the little cat nose, and you can see a hint of the tail down here, right? If you're attracted to this, right? But not when she doesn't have the animal features, I think you need to go see somebody, frankly. Because if it's just ears, nose, and tails that makes you say, attractive woman, there's a problem, buddy. There's a big problem. All right, so enough of that. Let's get back to the video.
That's what I did. The reason Parlo is trying to call me a zoophile is because of the genitalia of some of the art pieces. I hate that I even have to explain this, because this is just fucking so...
Where are her pants? Solomon Grundy took them. And if you get that reference, you get a no prize.
Fucking cringe, but if you're a normie, this is weird. It's a very taboo thing when it comes to people who aren't furries, obviously. But
why do people use normie as a pejorative? There is nothing wrong with not being so internet brained that you don't understand what any of this is.
It is really just a cultural difference. In the furry community, this type of shit is just normal, but obviously to other people who are normal functioning adults, it's very taboo, and it can be misinterpreted as zoophilia. If you think it's a weird thing...
If it has anatomically accurate animal parts in terms of the genitalia, yes it is. And I will fight on that hill, and I will slay everybody on that hill. Now, when it comes to like the animals, or not animals, but the monsters and whatnot, that is in such a gray area because they literally just do not exist. Like, it's just like people who like have an inflation fetish or whatnot. Like, I may pick on you for it, but I can't sit here and say that it's morally reprehensible because it's just literally something impossible.
I cannot take that away from you, and I'm not even going to attempt to. If you think it's weird, honestly, I can't say it's not weird. But it's not zoophilic. To say it is just kind of false. I've even seen streams where people are conflicted on if this is zoophilia or not. It's not. I do know what zoophilia is, obviously. I call people out for it all the time.
Yes, it's only zoophilia if they're on all fours and they're standing up on hind legs. It's all good. Don't let him see the trick dogs.
That's not to say that that just automatically excuses me of the claim, but I'm saying I know where the line is. I know what is reprehensible, immoral artwork, and I know what's just weird. And this is just a weird thing. I wish that the shit I was into was not public.
McDonald's makes it possible eventually. I mean, it depends. Are you yelling at somebody in the McDonald's? Ren and I still joke about that.
And I still don't really feel a need for this to be public, but I mean, it is what it is.
Like, sometimes Ren will send me a message or something. He's like, oh, I know, but I'm not annoying you. I'm like, you're not. But I mean, if you want, I can go to the local McDonald's and start yelling at you. It's only good fun.
Speaking of embarrassing shit that was made public for...
You're welcome, Crow.
Zero reason is my sexual health. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, Parlo decided to tell the entire internet what my sexual history was.
Yeah, that was scummy.
And the fact that I had an STD at one point.
Is this persona a koala? Because they have chlamydia.
You may be asking if I had an STD when having...
But no, that is garbage. He really shouldn't have put that out. I just know.
Having sex with Parlo, which would make the claim justifiable to make public. I mean, to which you'd be wrong. It's actually something I told...
I think that they're hate speech in reference to specific things. I don't think it's inherently trying to ape an animal.
I told Parlo literally 4 days before I went to visit him that I did not have an STD. The most I had was a mark on my body, but a doctor confirmed that it's probably just a skin irritation, and I went to a dermatologist like a week ago. They confirmed it's just something I'm supposed to have. It's not an STD.
Real men have scars! I have a lot of those.
I did not have an STD when I had sex with Parlo. So why on earth is the fact that I had one like a year ago public?
You know what? I'm going to counter that real quick, Mercy. Or Mercer Frey. We say that koalas are the dumbest mammal. I have never seen a koala go into debt because he just needed that brand new car. I've never seen one go into bankruptcy because he just had to have a yacht to keep up with the Jones. I think humans in a lot of ways are the dumbest mammal.
Fucking knows. There was literally zero reason for this to be public. Another minor thing that Parlo brought up was hygiene, which, yeah, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. He tried to make it out like I'm just some gross and disgusting motherfucker. The thing that Parlo doesn't mention is that the instance he's talking about...
No, Riddle, those are tiger stripes. Get it right. But I actually have a bunch of scars on different places of my hand and other parts of my body, so no.
About is...
Most of my stretch marks are, I think, actually in my bicep area from when I did a lot of heavy weightlifting.
The first day that I was in London, this was after I'd been on a plane for the past 2 consecutive days. Like, literally, I'd been on a plane for 22 hours. So, obviously, when I met them at the Airbnb, I would have smelled like shit. Parlo asks why I didn't buy shampoo at the airport, and that's because you were texting me about how you were fucking starving. It took me 22 hours to fly there, and then it would have taken me like another hour to get to the house. And when I got there and landed, you were telling me about how you were starving. So it still took me fucking forever to get there. I didn't want to stop on a fucking side quest because you were starving. You were telling me you were hungry.
Here's the thing. You should have told Parlo, get something to eat. Like, we can hang out after I take a shower or whatnot. You say buying soap at an airport doesn't take like an hour. It's fine.
And I was actually denied from using Avalon shampoo at first. We were supposed to go to Tesco's the next day to get shampoo, but unfortunately we left the Airbnb to go into London before Tesco's opened, because it opens at like 10 a.m., but we left before that. It wasn't until that night at the Airbnb that Avalon said I could just use his stuff, because it was kind of clear due to our whole times that that would be impossible for me to get shampoo. So yeah, this whole accusation...
Parlo, Avalon, and Adjacent band together. The quest for shampoo. A made-for-TV movie premiering this Saturday at 4.
As well as my sexual history were, I mean, realistically only brought into this to try and humiliate me. Which
I can agree on that, and that was scummy.
Which honestly kind of worked out in my favor, because that seems to be all people are talking about, which, fine, I guess. I deserve my licks.
Yeah, and they're probably dumb for focusing on that, frankly.
And the same goes with the legend that is the Cinderella. Oh god, this, honestly, if there's one thing that's been talked about in this situation that's made me happy, it's this fucking thing, because this has just become a complete meme. I think everyone can collectively agree there was zero reason for that much detail to be poured into that alone. And I want to quickly say, by the way, I didn't name it that. That was just what it was called when I bought it at the store. Trust me.
Is it Disney branded?
I wish I could take credit for that. I bought it because the name was funny, so I'm glad people are agreeing the name was funny. I wish I could take credit for it being named that. Trust me, I wish I could, but I unfortunately can't.
I do think that part of it is some form of cope, but I'll let him have it.
To end the Cinderella segment off on something that's actually, like, important, that actually matters, when I was going through our DMs, I found this. I got all the gay stuff. And that toy you wanted me to bring. So...
Why can't it be like Transformers? Like, you're sitting there with the boys and things get a little weird, you bust out like Power Master Optimus Prime. That'd be freaking rad.
Carlos said I forced him to use a dildo, but he asked me to bring it. I mean, just look at what he was saying. Oh. Hey, wait, hold on a second. These DMs look weird. It's almost like I had to use a third-party software to download my DMs with Parlo.
Yeah.
The millisecond I got home, because I figured he would end up deleting DMs.
Somebody remind me, did the Google Doc drop before or after Adjacent already made it home? Because it'd be kind of weird if you felt the need to export them like before all this started hitting the public.
But that's ridiculous. It's not like Parlo has actually been deleting DMs, which is something we'll definitely not go more into later. And there's one last thing I want to address before moving on, and that's the whole suicide baiting claim.
All right, so before we get into this, I'm going to put a poll. I want you guys to tell me what you'd like. So I actually have a small story from back in the days of, I think it was Senate. I can't actually remember if it was from Senate or if it was from Cat's Lair. But I actually have a story involving an offer for a sex toy. So I'm going to take 30 seconds, and I'm going to let you guys decide on whether or not you want to hear it before we move on. I promise you, it's nothing like gross. You're not going to find any weird details about my interactions with my wife. It's fine. I don't know. Like, that's for me. That's not for you. Oh boy, somebody clip this. I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure Fishy will clip a billion different things from this stream. Oh, hold on. Somebody messaged me. Who dare message? Whomst. Oh, it's just K-Huck. Actually, I'll also put in a poll in at the end of the day because I might raise you guys into somebody else. All right? I don't know if it's been 30 seconds, but that's enough. We have 84. Oddly enough, Esme Marriott is a little bit closer to the reality. So, as a YouTuber, I get random, like, product offers all the time. One time I got a leaf blower offer, and I tried to get it, but it expired before I could get to it, and the wife was upset. But I got offered to review a sex toy from some random company. I don't know what my channel was doing that got their attention. But I sat there and I'm initially like, well, obviously I don't want to do that, right? And then somebody pitched me the idea, Lio, what if you use it like an actual toy review? To where I just play the entire time that I have no clue what this thing actually is. So I'm looking at it's like its build quality, its paint applications, its scale, its articulation, and just get really pissed off. I don't know what toy line this is from. It doesn't have any articulation. The paint doesn't match anything else, and it comes with no accessories. And they want, what, $50 for this thing? Who would buy that? This is worse than Super 7. Like, just go to the wall with it. It would have been real funny, but they never responded. So there's the story. And if it ever happens again, I'm doing it.
Arlo has put my struggling mental health on full blast for people's amusement. This is stuff that I really don't like to talk about publicly. I really don't like to talk in general about how I'm doing mentally. I like to keep that between very fucking close friends because you guys don't really deserve to know about how I'm doing like that.
You know, it's a funny thing because I've had people tell me I need to talk more about like how I feel about things on my channel, and I probably will. Let me go what you guys want to see.
The situation he brought up is the Anthrocon stuff last year, where the situation I was going through, I said that it was making me suicidal. While I didn't intend for it to be taken in a manipulative way, that was...
In fairness, if I had to go to Anthrocon, I'd probably be suicidal too. Sooner or later it would wrap back around the homicidal, but you know.
Was unfortunately the way it was taken. And after I was informed that people had a problem with me putting that out into the ether, I have taken great strides to not repeat that mistake. That is why throughout the entire course of this situation, my mental health has been my own thing. I've not talked to literally anyone apart from one person about how I've been feeling throughout this because I don't want to repeat the same mistake. I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want people to feel like I'm manipulating them. I don't want to feel like I'm doing that to anyone. I think that's shitty. People talk about learning and growing, and during the situation, I really haven't brought my mental health up once. I really could have, but I didn't want to repeat of last time. It was shitty of me to do back then, and I learned from my mistakes, and I have taken great strides to not repeat that. So it was shitty back then, and I apologize for bringing up my mental health in a situation like that, and for having people feel like I was manipulating them. But I definitely learned from that, and I will not repeat the same mistake, just like I have not now. But the whole suicide baiting thing is just ironic, considering literally days ago he went on Dicker's stream and suicide baited.
Yeah. Leave and come back. Now, I've seen that that is impossible, and can't say, but a lot of people have fucking blood on their hands now, but yeah.
Whoa, okay.
It's a pattern
bit
that we're going to
much.
see that
Bit much.
Parlo's just a complete hypocrite. Speaking of Parlo, I guess I should talk about this briefly. The GoFundMe thing. Now, this is probably the biggest point of contention against Parlo. Obviously, he's publicly apologizing and issuing refunds for everything and how everything went down and having his fans feel like he scammed them. Well, I wasn't going to show this off because if he was taking accountability, I guess whatever. But I think it's important to show what he said the night before it was made public.
I get feeling bad for Dickers on this, but I promise you it didn't bother him. Like, I've seen what that dude does in other spaces and on other streams. I promise you somebody doing the suicidal talk doesn't actually bother Dickers outside of maybe TOS violations.
GoFundMe point was horrendous. No, that's actually a banger point. Like classic deflection level straw grabbing. No, it was genuinely horrible, and commentary people agreed in private. So yeah, he knew 24 hours before that this claim was going to be made public, and him and certain creators he was talking to thought it was stupid. It's crazy now he's changed his tune, and how these same creators are publicly bashing him for it, but that's just me. By the way, I will say, I don't have evidence, so I'm not going to name names, but I was told...
I do want to say that, unfortunately, it is truth that a lot of times in the background, you can have a billion content creators say they agree with you until optics show up, until it becomes like career suicide to agree with the very thing you agreed with, then they'll flip on you. You have to be very careful who you're talking to about these things. Essentially, be very careful who you trust. Like, my circle of people I trust is actually extremely small, despite what people may think here. The fact that Vlad's one of them is actually really funny, ironically. If you look back like 2 or 3 years ago, that's actually hilarious.
Told every single person he talked to about this, and I know every single person who said this claim was stupid boy, did they fucking change their stances really quickly. That's all I'll say. The last thing I can address is an absolutely fucking wild one. I am accused of being a Nazi, despite having one of the craziest gay sex leaks online.
Well, being gay doesn't mean you can't be a Nazi. And why do I say that? Well, one in the chat, if you've ever seen Donald Duck in Nutsyland, right? And then we'll get into that in just a minute. So, one in chat, if you've ever seen the old Disney cartoon, Donald Duck in Nutsyland. Oh, wait, I know the chat's like 30 seconds behind. Just waiting for the chat to catch up. All right, so we have ones. I highly recommend watching it. It should be on YouTube. It is actually a great, let's be honest, it's propaganda, but it's good propaganda. It's fun propaganda. Where Donald Duck has a horrible dream that he's living in Nazi Germany, right? And he's forced to live a horrible life and make weaponries for the Fuhrer. They take Goebbels and they make him the gayest guy ever. Like, you know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can find, and it'll probably get the stream, claimed or whatever, and I'll have to edit it out in post. But let me see if I can find it. Donald Duck in Nutsyland. I actually have the song "The Fuhrer's Face," which is the main music from the episode, on my phone because I just love it so much. So let me see if I can pull it over here. Wrong way. Let me see if I can find the right spot here so I don't go too far over. I'll see if I can find a transcript so I can get to that very specific part. Of course, that's what it takes me to. Dang it. The transcript is not doing good. So let me just try to find it then directly.
When Herr Goebbels says we own the world in space, the Heil, right in Herr Goebbels' face. Then Herr Göring says they'll never bomb this place. The Heil, right in Herr Göring's face. Is he not the Superman? Arian Pura Superman? Yahweh is the Superman. Super duper Superman.
Yeah, they were not subtle. So here's the thing. Being against Nazis is obviously a plus. I don't think anybody should be for them. Unless we're talking about removing oneself from the Simpsons. But being gay does not inherently mean you are not a Nazi. So just putting that out there. And yes, I will get copyright claimed, I'm sure.
This accusation stems from the fact that I have a game on my Steam library called Furry Dictator. I said this in a past video, and I'll say it here again. This was going to be for a video that never ended up coming out.
The Fuhrer's Face is the name of the song that was in the episode, but Donald Duck in Nutsyland is the name of the episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Back when I was making furry content. I don't have the game installed, and not only that, I have literally 0 seconds in the game. So yeah, this accusation...
Why was that... There is a larger intersection. Okay, flamboyant maybe, but gay, I don't know. Keep in mind, Tate, this is made in the 40s. What do you think they were signaling? Come on, Chief. There is a weird intersection of Nazi and furry that I will never understand. I hate to tell you this, guys. If the Nazis were in charge, you'd be dead too.
Two is just entirely bullshit. But with that, we've reached the end of the main accusation segment. Now onto the Anthrocon stuff. So the Anthrocon thing, a situation that had long since been dead but was dug out of the grave to try and use against me. It's a situation that, just like this one, is very easily debunkable because it's incredibly similar. This is a situation of someone trying to use their body language instead of their fucking words to tell me how they feel. At the Airbnb at this convention I was attending with some people, one of them told me they were down to hook up, so I began to rub their knee. They then tried to spin this into me.
Body language at a furry convention. I'd imagine it's just some dude like growling and imagining that he has hackles raised.
Actually assaulting them, which is just fucking retarded. And then instead of just letting me down, they constantly told me that they just wanted to have sex later instead of just telling me that they were no longer interested. And like Parlo, they tried to use their body language to tell me they weren't interested instead of just literally just say so. Like I said earlier, I struggle to pick up on body language like this. I went through the fucking ringer and absolute hell to debunk and disprove the situation, and that is why the situation hasn't been talked about in a while. But Parlo decided to interject a situation he has basically zero knowledge of to try and use that against me, even when back then people were dropping the situation because it sounded like an awkward hookup.
Swastapa is crazy work.
Which is exactly what it was. There's zero evidence for either side, so this too is just a he said, she said. Now we've reached the part about all the actual genuine errors I made in this situation. That's right. Despite everything seriously career-destroying being as flat as paper, I did still make errors in my handling of this. One thing I did that was shitty was I sent a photo of me and Parlo making out to a mutual friend after he threw these accusations at me. It was a thing I did in a panic, but obviously that...
What do you mean in a panic? I'm losing my mind here. Like, I'm tired of hearing, what did this was, manic, and this was panic. These are, like, steps you have to go through a hoop to do this. Like, I can understand, like, throwing something in a manic fever or, like, deleting and removing things, but, like, taking the picture and sending it, what is this? Just say you were being a dick and leave it at that, dude.
That does not matter. It was a shitty thing to do regardless. I was still ultimately the only one responsible, and it's something I have apologized to Parlo for live.
I promise you I will never send anybody a photo of me making out with my wife in panic.
In DMs, and I even did it in a private VC the next day. I will say that while this is something I genuinely apologize for, it's really cringe. As mentioned previously, Parlo posted my name, what I look like, part of my driver's license, and my sexual history for the internet to just enjoy, and none of
us enjoyed it. I can promise you that.
That is relevant, so while when I did it, it was bad, I'm definitely going to say Parlo did far worse. Another thing I did was I deleted one of the DMs I had with a friend about this whole situation, back about the whole, like, third day during the sex thing where Parlo said I was trying to peer pressure him. Ironically enough, had I not done this, I would have completely exonerated myself of some of the shit being said about me. Once again, there really isn't a justification for this, and even though I did it in a panic, it was still ultimately something I did of my own accord, and it's something I genuinely apologize for. But as
if you're gay, leave the panic at the disco.
I alluded to earlier, would you guys be surprised if Parlo is doing the same fucking thing? I'm apologizing for deleting one single DM in this entire instance. I was generous and said, there could potentially be another instance of me deleting a DM. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any proven instances of that, so this is literally the only documented instance we have of that. Well, when I went to my DMs with Parlo to get stuff for this video, I discovered Parlo had been deleting entire conversations worth of DMs. And as I highlighted earlier, some of these actually changed the entire situation around how some of these accusations look. Trust me, there's a lot of things here that he deleted which make him look bad. So while the one DM I deleted was bad, I'd argue the amount that he's deleted is kinda worse. Another big fuck up I had was when this situation happened, I went and asked drama YouTubers their perspectives on this whole thing to figure out the optics and if I was fucked or not. Obviously doing this only made it spread and and while a lot of people told me I should just talk to lawyers instead, I didn't think this situation was that serious, and...
Well, it's not. You shouldn't need to talk to lawyers. You should have just made fun of Parlo for being a weirdo and debunk what you felt you needed to. You didn't need to run to other drama YouTubers. I promise you, at no point were they like, well, let's sit down and actually talk about your options. Let's look over all this. I promise you, they were plotting something behind the scenes. If nothing else, to make fun of you for it. Or to talk to other people about what was going on, because you can't trust that. Look, there are some drama people I do trust. Right? But again, that's a small circle. And I don't think this guy went to any of those people. So congratulations, you played yourself.
I still don't think the situation is serious enough to involve lawyers. But I shouldn't have gone and talked to other people about it. I should have kept it to myself. That's my mistake. This is something I have actually apologized to the people involved for. I had a conversation with Avalon behind the scenes where I apologized for speaking to those people. And it's just something I want to apologize for again. I didn't really see a problem with it, but after a lot of people have explained to me why it was wrong, I fucked up. I'm sorry. To end this video off, this situation went from a funny, haha, look at this retard, he fucked Parlo, to people genuinely lying about me and trying to cancel me. It's
too bad you lied about other people in this too, Chief. Kinda sucks.
Could have genuinely just been a funny drama, but instead people tried to maliciously use this to try and ruin my career.
Also, I have to say, because I didn't mention this earlier, him talking about how I pushed it, brother, I didn't do a YouTube video and put it out to the masses, and I certainly didn't go to everybody I know ever and saying, hey, we need to cancel this guy as a pedophile. It's actually stupid.
It came to the situation, I said...
And desperate.
I was going to respond and debunk everything that mattered, and all I asked for was a little bit of patience, something I was not granted. Instead, people went with and ran with absolutely crazy stories with zero evidence. It's a little gross, to be honest, especially since to a lot of people, I told them they could talk to me if they had questions. But still, people went and called me a pedophile with baseless accusations. I was originally going to take a month or two off, but honestly, I've kind of had people tell me just to return after this video comes out, so I'll give Jerry another video or two, and then I'll be back as the host, because I've really taken time to just reflect on this self and reflect on me. I mean, I definitely got some things I got to work on, but this situation is more of a bullet to Parlo's career than mine. Obviously, this isn't going to convince everyone, but if I provide enough evidence for claims and you just refuse to believe some, I can't help you. I have messed up during the situation, but to a funny degree, honestly, not to like a malicious degree like what everyone is saying. This situation completely spiraled, and I think I've made it clear that a lot of this just genuinely seems malicious and that people wanted me gone more than actually hearing me out, but that's just me. And one last thing, I want to address Parlo directly because I know you're watching this video. Even after this whole situation happened, I still was trying to help you out. I was in DMs trying to figure out a collective response that the two of us could work on to save both of our careers. I genuinely gave a shit about you when everyone else didn't, when everyone else was warning me to just dip out on you, that you were complete schizo, that you were going to fucking crash out, that you were going to stab me in the back. And I should have listened. I don't know why I didn't. I think you are completely hopeless, and I know people have been telling him to get off the internet. Trust me, I've been saying it even as the situation has started. The reality is, this guy has nothing else. I mean, he's poor, he's homeless, and God knows he can't get a job. This is really all he has, and if he can't have that, he's going to try to bring other people down with it. The most I can say is just ignore this guy. Treat him like a circus animal, honestly. If people have questions, if people want to talk...
Look, if he was a child predator, I'd agree. Is he dishonest? Apparently. Is he a loser? Yeah, but I don't think you should inherently treat him like a circus animal. Because if that's the case, we should also treat you like a circus animal. Like, come on. What is wrong with you? Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and discount him and say, like, I'm gonna completely tut you over that. I get it. I understand why he feels that way, considering he's the affected party in all this. But if you set that standard for everybody, you're gonna be in trouble eventually. So, maybe not the best option.
To me, you can join my Discord. My DMs are open.
Don't join this guy's Discord. He's weird. Like, bare minimum. You should join mine instead, because mine's powered by autism. So much autism. You have no idea. I was in call with Sunny today, and they were going over about Cookie Run Kingdom and the lore therein. I know things about Cookie Run Kingdom I never thought I'd know.
Like I said, the one thing I can say before I end this off is I genuinely tried to help Parlo out. A lot of people told me he was a schizo lolcow, but I wasn't around for a lot of the shit that got him that title, and I felt like it was unfair of me to label him as such. And I mean, until this situation happened, my interactions with him were nice, and I thought he was on a little bit of a redemption arc, so I thought people just did the typical internet thing of making someone out to be worse than they actually are. Through this situation, it's become abundantly clear that I was just wrong, and this guy is genuinely a lost cause. Ironically enough, we talked about STDs, but it seems the only STD that was transferred during our sexual encounters was the lolcow gene. I have a pretty lax view when it comes to online shit, and I try to be chill and get along with everyone, but as I've been told by people, it's just kind of a detriment to me, so going forward, I'm really not going to try to befriend any of these people. I just see people as associates from now on. Parlo wasn't the first, but he is the last. I think it's just easier.
You'll have others
to deal with. I guess the most I can do is apologize to people for ever giving this guy any of my time, or treating him like a human being instead of a circus animal.
You know, the sad thing is, even as pissed as I am, I would accept an apology from him if he just come out and said, yeah, what I did in this and what I said about Falgi and you, that was scummy, and I'm sorry. I'd accept it. I'd accept it.
I should have listened to what people said, and I have no one to blame but myself. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening. I'll be back in a month or two, so be nice to Jerry, and, I don't know, later.
So, we have now seen his video as a response to all this. Take whatever you feel you need to on any of this. I still take issue with him lying concerning me and concerning Falgi. I'll get over it. People lie about me all the time. Bullying them's the best option here, because these people very rarely just own up to what they do. Now, the next stream, I'm not sure. I have something that might be hitting my desk on Friday, depending on how things pan out, and if that does, that'll be an event. But here's what we're gonna do. Initially, I was gonna have you guys raid into Falgi, but I've decided to not do that. Why? Is it because I hate Falgi? No, because somebody else is actually streaming right now, who is a smaller content creator, and they are an absolute darling. And I think you guys would enjoy being in their stream, and that would be K-Huck. K-Huck is talking today about Scarlet Reaper. I don't know much about that individual, so feel free to hop in there, because it'll automatically shoot you over there once this is done. Tell K-Huck I sent you, and that I send my admiration. So, you guys have fun with that. You're going to be ending on new commercials, because I've been a busy little bee. But you guys take it easy, and I will catch you next time. Oh, one thing I do want to say real quick, so I don't get a whole bunch of questions. The Callie Briggs that I drew wasn't just obviously for like exercise, but because at one point I was planning on doing a video about, you know, what is and isn't actually zoophilia, and that was an object image I was going to use in that case, like I did here. So, just be aware of that. But anyways, enjoy the new commercials, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thunder...
Enjoy the new commercial. I am dumb. I forgot to do something. My apologies. I forgot to read out the super chats. How foolish of me. You'll have to see those new commercials again and again in a minute. So, my apologies. I am so sorry. I can't believe I forgot to do that. So, let me go ahead and pull them up. So, from Lucifer to Scary, for $2, just a reminder to take time for yourself. No promises. Patu, for $5, exactly why I own a shower chair. Totally didn't get it when I broke my foot. I've heard good things about shower chairs. B from A for $5. The miner came on to me. Say you and blocked them. Sentencing IA and his dentist to the rack. Oof. The judgment of the Corn Lord. Raccoon for $5. This toy vibrates. It's the worst toy. Doesn't have it make any fun noises. No, it doesn't launch any missiles. That's the problem. Land Clipper for $2. I didn't know you reviewed those types of toys. Well, I don't. That's the problem. Blue Evander, $2. Take my money, old man. Well, I'll accept it graciously. Blinky Iris for $5. Holy crap, the mouth moves. I can't believe. Also, hello, I'm here. Somehow appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you too, Blinky. Love your art. And Star Minion for $2. Take my money, Peepaw. So, I'm going to send you back to the commercials now. And, sorry.
Miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats. セカンド。最大の敵がついに目覚めた。ライオコンボイ変身。新司令官の登場だ。ガルバトロントランスフォーム。破壊大帝驚異の三段変形。ライオン台風。史上最大の対決に君も参加せよ。だからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ。
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
Are you surprised at all? This is Orochi style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made.
He could
That's
never
right,
recall
boy. What an adorable little playground you have here.
Rocky the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks. Ending transmission. You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cat. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
Eat wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quacker Jack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer Negaduck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It! Get him!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here.
I'll transform Optimus!
Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back.
Now Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine. Power Master Optimus Prime.
Look! Optimus is transforming into a super robot! Power Master Transformers! They've got the power to surprise!
The earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space. A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity, a living beacon of hope destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones, a legendary fighter able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall, and the earth runs red as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.